Hello and welcome to ThePrint. This is Akanksha Mishra and you're watching Scientifix, where I will be taking you through this week's top science news from across the world. Our first story today is about a potential breakthrough by Californian scientists who could have discovered the first cure for measles. In a new paper, the scientists defined how they identified antibodies that are capable of neutralizing the measles virus, which is the first time in the world that this has happened. These antibodies bind to the virus and prevent it from entering the human body. And in animal trials, the antibodies were proven to be effective against the virus by reducing its load by 500 times. According to the paper, this therapy could be used both before as a vaccine but also after getting measles as a treatment. This is the first time ever that a treatment or a potential treatment for measles has been discovered. While the current measles vaccine remains highly effective, some groups, including infants, pregnant people, and immunocompromised patients, cannot safely receive it. And currently, the world is experiencing deadly measles outbreaks in many countries. The new treatment could allow those most vulnerable to the disease to also be protected. Next up, a new study in Nature Astronomy journal found that scientists studying the rare Interstellar comet 31 Atlas have discovered that it contains unusually high amounts of heavy water, which could potentially tell us about how planetary systems form beyond our solar system. This comet is a famous one. It was the third confirmed interstellar object ever discovered in our solar system, and according to the study, it formed in an extremely cold and low radiation environment, unlike the environment that created Earth and the planets around the Sun. Researchers found that the comet's water contains 30 times more deuterium than our solar system's comets. Deuterium is a heavier form of hydrogen, and it's basically a chemical signature that acts like a fingerprint, revealing the conditions under which this object was formed. Interestingly, this study was done not using samples but using observations from telescopes in Arizona and the ALMA observatory in Chile. This shows how follow-up telescope observations can be so powerful and can reveal so much about celestial objects. Next up, a study by the University of Galway found that coral reefs have a vast hidden world of microbes, many of which have never been studied and could hold promise for future medicines and biotechnology. This study looked at 99 reefs across 32 Pacific islands, and the scientists reconstructed the genomes of 645 microbial species that live within these corals. More than 99% of these species were previously unknown to science. The findings suggest that each coral species basically hosts its own specialized microbiome, and it forms intricate partnerships that help sustain the reef's ecosystems. Importantly, these microbes can produce bioactive chemical compounds which have the same genetic potential as marine sponges, which are another huge source of natural medicines. So the scientists in the paper said that these coral reefs represent a molecular library of untapped biological resources. Finally, scientists used tiny degraded DNA samples to trace illegal wildlife trafficking routes with precision in a new study in the PLOS journal. The study was focused on the pangolin trade, which is one of the world's largest and most lucrative wildlife trade networks. An international group of scientists analyzed DNA from more than 700 pangolin samples that were collected from museums, from field sites, from bushmeat markets, and from international seizure operations. Using this data, they created a genomic reference map that allowed trafficked pangolins to be traced back to their likely geographic origins, in some cases within just a few kilometers. The analysis identified major poaching hotspots in southwest Cameroon, Myanmar, and several regions across Africa, while also revealing trafficking routes between China and Indonesian islands. Researchers found that domestic and international pangolin trade networks are deeply interconnected, often drawing animals from the same wild populations. The paper says that the method could eventually support a large-scale forensic tracking of pangolins and other traffic species, helping authorities target poaching hotspots and disrupt illegal supply chains more effectively. That's all we have for you today. Thank you for tuning into The Print.